I was so excited about this trip and what happened, the people I met, the innovation I saw, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, everybody I talk to, like, oh, you got to hear about this. Well, I don't have enough time to talk to everybody and tell everybody all this stuff, so I'm going to miss a lot of things as I'm talking to one person here, one person there, right? So I said, man, let's just get the whole gang together. Anybody wants to listen, I want to tell them about what happened over here, because it's just crazy stuff in innovation, culture, things that I really saw here. I never expected to see, right? I mean, I expected to go there, get this treatment done, and I knew it was going to be kind of like Groundhog Day, the same system every day. Janelle's going to experience this coming up because Janelle's going there for the last 5 or 6 days of Cheryl's treatments. But a little bit like Groundhog Day, right? But because of YPO and my relationships here with friends of mine from India, I had a few names of some people that my friends wanted me to meet, right? Some CEOs of some companies, some other doctors there, all different stuff. So I met a lot of unbelievable people. And I found some things here. I look at I didn't put this on here or anything, but when I thought about it, what's the biggest principle that I learned here, right? And I think I lived by this principle pretty much in the last 10, 15 years of my life, but I'm not sure I always have. But it's basically, respect all, right, and fear none. And respect all, and I think it's love all actually is even more importantly, because when I met all these people, I don't care. 90% of the people there live in the slums, right? 90% live below a poverty level. That's 1/10 of our poverty level. So our poverty level is around 30 grand for a family of 5 in U.S. And about 6 or 7, 8% of our families live below that. If we went to their poverty level is $3,000 a year for a family of 5, right? 90% live below that. Think about that. How do you survive, right? But usually it's a couple families living together, right? 8, 10 people in a little, few hundred square foot home or whatever. But then I look deeper and deeper at this stuff. In the slums, and I'm like, man, there's no danger. There's no feel of danger at all in the slums in India, right? In Bangalore, around Bangalore. I'm like, man, I feel no risk at all. And these are the slums. And these people are living definitely way lower than what we see in the slums of Chicago or wherever we go in our world, way below that, right? So how is that? So I was asking these questions the whole time I was there. This is about where I was at, right? So if you look at the map, Bangalore at the south central of the country, and while we're there, I'm finding out. I'll talk about culture a little bit too, but while we're here at the Ritz-Carlton, right? We're spoiled. We're staying at the Ritz-Carlton. By the way, it's cheap there. It's like a low-cost Hilton. It's $130 a night. And I think it's like $40 or $50 to have the club where you get all your food covered all day long. You go in this club and lounge and all that. So $170 or $80 a night for the Ritz-Carlton. And in the Ritz-Carlton there, it's probably 2 stars above the Ritz-Carltons here. You're treated like royalty. Everywhere you go, I tried to get some video of this. I didn't put it on here. But everywhere you walk, everybody in the hotels, Mr. Rabine, good afternoon, Mr. Rabine. Janelle will find, good afternoon. They'll say mom. Instead of ma'am, they say mom. Maybe she's too young for mom, but they call Cheryl mom all the time, right? So right here, but while we're here at the Ritz, they've got people working here that are from all different parts of the country. And so as you're asking where they're at, I don't know any of the names, right? I know Delhi and a couple of them, but I don't know when they tell me they're from Nagpur. I didn't know where the heck that was at. But these people look a little different, right? And where they're from. If they're south here and all that, we're seeing darker skin, right? If you're up here, they look Asian, okay? But out here it's kind of a mix again, right? Further go here, closer, of course, to Asia, they're more Asian looking. But every single person I met, whether it's at the Ritz, on the street, in the slums, every single person carried the same type of distribution. No fear, right? I mean, they're coming up and wanting pictures of me like I'm a celebrity because I'm I'm tall, and I'm a white guy, right? I'm pale white, so can I take a picture, right? Then people are doing selfies with me all over the place, right? Cheryl got there a couple weeks later, same thing. They're doing selfies with Cheryl all the time, right? Janelle's going to be a specimen. She's in trouble for sure. She's going to stand out like a sore. Average height there is probably 4 or 5 inches less than the average height here at least. I bet the average height's 5'4", 5'5". You get a few tall people here and there, but not many. And why is that? I think it's nutrition maybe. I think it's things like that. Okay, so that's where we're at right there in the middle of the south part of India. This is a video I sent out. We can't do the video, right?
You can if you. Let me take
Did anybody see the video I sent out on my LinkedIn? Anybody see that? You know, we don't have to show it. It's not a big deal, but this is pretty crazy, right? I'm looking at construction everywhere. I mean, there's just no safety. I mean, none at all. I mean, it's so this is
just click the screen.
This is a concrete crew right here. How do I stop and stuff? Just, okay, but anyway, here's the concrete. Here's the guy. Look at this guy up here, right? They're going about 25, 30. That's a high speed in the city because it's really jammed traffic. Look at this guy here. His foot's on the back of the thing there, right? They got sandals on. This is a concrete crew, right? That's a high production concrete crew because that's a nice mixer right there. That's a nice truck for there, right? So again, you think, you know, culturally, you know, think, gosh, people must be dying all over the place there, right? I don't know. I guess you never dug into that metric, but boy, it just doesn't seem safe. On the side of the roads, you know, the road crews on the side of the road, there's no barricades in most cases, right? A couple places there, but mostly no barricades. There's pieces of concrete or rocks, right, along the area they're working, and it's women and men both working, and women have the whole outfit on, right? And I don't know if I got many pictures of that. So golf was pretty fun. You know, Nick took this treatment. It's about 10 days, 11 days into his treatment. We went to golf our first time there. We golfed twice there. We're going to try and get out more. We weren't able to, but Nick golfing here. How do I do this? He goes, just click. There you go. Okay. So here's Nick on the very first hole after his 10th or 11th treatment, whatever it is. I don't have the volume up. Basically, he's putting for a birdie on the first hole. It's not an easy hole, and the first birdie of his life, right? It's kind of funny. I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy, right? The first birdie of his life, first hole there. Yeah, baby. So Nick went on to beat me for the first time in his life.
All right, now we got
I mean, so seriously, so 10, 11 treatments in. Nick's problem is he's got a great swing, but his problem is he's got anxiety. And after like 7, 8 holes, his patience gone. He's like, I should never play this game again. You know, he goes, I'm so terrible at this, right? He goes, I just want to go home, right? I mean, this is how he is after 8 or 9 holes usually, right? This is a slow round of golf, about a 5 or 6 hour round of golf because it's a really busy course. And 5, 6 hours later, he was patient. He had no problem with anxiety, and he was concentrating. He beat me for the first time in his life. Now, he's never within 15 or 16 strokes of me in a round. Now, I golf probably 5 or 6 strokes worse than normal, so let's say 10, 12 strokes better than he ever does before. So I thought, man, could that be this 10, 11 treatments that has done this? I don't know. The jury's still out. But we went out again 2 weeks later, and he came within 2 strokes of beating me. And the same thing, he had total concentration. He didn't fall apart ever, right, which is a big problem for him. Doctors we met said, oh, it's cerebral palsy, right? But bottom line is, he was a pound and a half when he was born, right? Less than 2 pounds when he was born, and so you know he struggled. But he has no issues physically at all. Physically, he's a specimen for a little guy, right? But as far as absorbing information and all that, he struggles, and anxiety he struggles, right? You know. But I'm telling you, anxiety you'll see, you know, I think he's got much less anxiety today than I've ever seen, which could be amazing if that did that for him, right? So this is Nick and I, our driver. We got to be great friends with our driver. He's a really smart guy. Comes from the slums. His house here is just a tad above. Him and his brother both work for this 8-person household. Between the two of them, he drives a van. He owns his own van, and he charges $30 a day wherever you want to go, whatever gas you spend. Gives you free water. He spends 10 cents on the water, whatever. And $30 a day, right? So I'm doing the numbers, and I'm saying, you know, Venkatish, there's no way you can make more than a few thousand net a year, right? He goes, well, maybe with his accent, I can't do it, but well, maybe 4,000, net. I said, man, you got a great service here. You're a doggone tour guide for me. You're a security guy for me. You know, you're a great driver. You're driving this crazy traffic better than I could ever drive, and I think I'm a pretty good driver, right? So $30 a day, $3,000 or $4,000 a year net. You got to make more than this, man. You got to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to teach you how to be an entrepreneur. So the whole time I'm with him, I'm telling him how he's got to be really more succinct on his service, right? The water's got to be there consistently, but charge for it, right? Charge for it. Charge a little more so we can cover that. Get good quality water. Make sure it's just not something that's taken out of a sink somewhere, right? Because I think it might have been. But anyway, so he also is like a tour guide. So I'm saying, market yourself as a driver, tour guide, and you're going to show him the city and outside the city because he knows it like the back of his hand. He goes, oh yeah, okay, I can do that. And so I said, okay, I'm going to pay $50 a day, which is still ridiculously cheap, right? I feel guilty for that. I said, so you're on course. If you could charge everybody $50 a day, you're gonna make $4,000 or $5,000 a year net, right? And he goes, yeah, I don't know if I could get that. I said, okay, if you lose 20%, how much percent of your customers do you lose? He went back and forth. He said, maybe 10-20% of my customers I might lose with that. I said, okay, lose those customers. You got to market a little better. I said, but if you lose those customers and you get $20 more a day, it's okay. You're going to make a lot more. You're going to make somewhere around 70% more than you did the year before, right? He goes, so either way, I think he's going to do it because he's doing it now. We're paying him that, and I hope that he does, right? But either way, so Venkatesh, we get to be good friends with Venkatesh. He takes us through everywhere we want to go, the slums and all that. I said, he goes, I think people must ask this because the first day he goes, you want to go see? I said, where should we go see after the treatments? He goes, you want to see the slums? I said, what's the slums? The people ask to see the slums? He says, oh, absolutely. Everybody wants to see the slums. I said, I'd love to. I said, is it dangerous? He goes, oh, no, not dangerous. I said, oh, really? And so I'm thinking he just doesn't know what danger looks like, right? But we go to the slums, and sure enough, I had some stuff, driving through, and I don't think I showed too much here. I might throw some aside. But this is, within a few days, he tells us about a festival that's coming up. A festival, right? So we're thinking there's going to be this big street festival, right? Tradespeople everywhere, selling all different stuff. Like, we're seeing all these different parts of the town where they have these little shops set up where it's mother, father, and kids sitting there, and they're selling whatever, right? Shoes or umbrellas or fruit or vegetables or whatever. So I'm thinking it's a new place that there's going to be this big festival that we're going to go see, right? And so we're just saying, yeah, festival. So the next few days he's excited about the festival he's going to take us to, right? And Nick and I are just kind of going along with it. Well, he takes us to his house. It's festival day, and they call it, and you're supposed to be, you're supposed to treat your friends at your house on festival day, this is at his house, and this is they set up this like tiered thing of their gods, and then their food that the mother, sister, and wife made, right? And there's all different fruits and vegetables and kiwi and all kinds of stuff, and then the hot stuff they're making in the back. And so they bring us here. They're so proud of the festival day and what they have to offer us, right? And we sit down. They sit us down in 2 seats, and then we still know what's going on, really, right? Maybe we're still going somewhere. But they sit us down, and they start serving us food, right? This lady comes out with a plate, and the sister comes out with a plate. The mother comes out with a plate, and they're one after another. And I'm a pretty picky eater. I like, pretty plain stuff, and this is not plain stuff. This is totally different than I've ever seen. Now, you're eating with your fingers, and I'm pretty good at that. That's no big deal. But really, the food was not my type of food. And these people are like, they're staring at you. They're standing back like this, like. So I start eating it, right? And the first thing was pretty good. I was like, oh, okay, this is good. They're smiling. I'm smiling, right? Like everything after that. I couldn't really eat, but I ate it all. I ate almost everything. And so Nick is the same way. Now, Nick will eat a lot more than I will, but probably 40% of the stuff he liked, and looking at his face, 60% he struggled to eat, right? But again, it's just funny because we're sitting there and they're serving us and nobody else is eating. All these people are sitting and watching us, right? The kids, right? This is two nephews, father, mother, sister-in-law, and wife. So I mean, it was really awesome though that their day was around us, right? So pretty cool. And again, that's kind of okay. So I said the 2 brothers. The brother's not here; he's working. So there's one more person in the family here, and it's 8. Let's say 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 altogether, right, in the family. He's working. He makes about $2,000 or $3,000 net a year. I mean, two of them. They're living bigger than most, right? They're making almost double the average. That puts them double poverty level, right? But still, how do you live in that? This is about a 250, 350 square foot home they live in, right? One weird thing is granite floors everywhere. So even the lowest cost places have granite floors. If they have a floor, if they're not dirt, they're granite. Granite, there's just tons of granite there. They have abundance of granite in the ground. And this is this is like 2-inch polished granite through the whole place, which is pretty wild. Right here it'd be, even for that square footage, Dan, what did that cost? I don't know, $100,000 or something? It'd be expensive. So this is okay. I got it. This is he takes us in a few days later. We want to go see the monkeys. So he takes us outside the city. We go to the mountain area, and we see there's monkeys all over the place, right? And then they have this little area where they have different vendors and all that, and they have some music going on. And this is Nick trying to look at teaching an older guy how to dance. And watch this guy. He's not even looking. He's picking it up. Look at that. There's something with that. This guy's a pure Buddhist. He wasn't even looking at him. He saw exactly how he was dancing. He picked it up perfect, right? I want Nick to go out and show him a little more. Nick's too shy. So anyway, yeah. So at this place, probably about 10 times I was stopped to take pictures with. And eventually I see pictures, a couple times I see people taking pictures of themselves. And, hey, can I get in? And they're like, yeah, sure, right? So it's kind of funny. Okay, so then, it's not long after Cheryl shows up. Some of you guys may know, but we're there for 4 or 5 days, and then we find out that she's having these spells. She says, I had a spell again, the same spells that she had before a tumor showed up 3 years ago. So I said, okay, you're going in. Called Janelle. Janelle, will you take her to get an MRI right away? And Janelle says, yeah, of course. So I take her in, and our doctors here, we're great doctors at Northwestern, say, hey, everything looks good, right? They're telling Janelle, and you know better than I do with the conversation, but everything looks good, right? And then we get the reports from the radiologist, and Debbie looks at it and says, Gary, you need to look at these reports. And I said, why is that? She goes, that doesn't look as good as they're saying, right? I mean, Janelle said that they said really no problem. So we look at it, and sure enough, 2 places where there was evidence of some cancer, but not growing before, had doubled in size, or say 60 to 80% in size more, and 1 other new spot that was growing, right? So I called the doctor, and he talked to me briefly, and then didn't want to get off the phone. And then I texted him back and forth. I said, hey, it doesn't look good. This report doesn't look good. There's a lot of growth. He goes, the radiologist will exaggerate. He goes, there's nothing you can do, Gary. Yes, it's growing, but there's nothing you can do until it gets big enough that we can radiate it or chemo, or maybe take it out if it depends on the shape of it and what it looks like. So I said, that's I appreciate you can't do anything, but you should have told me that, because I'd like to know that there's growth going on, right? He doesn't know that I've got this going on over here. He doesn't know that we've looked into this. I'm not even telling him, because it's just not worth talking to conventional doctors. And these guys are great doctors, so nothing against them. This is conventional medicine, as it is, right? There's nothing you can do. So sure enough, Cheryl shows up here a week and a half later, Janelle probably, week and a half later after getting everything lined up. And this is her. Where's she at here anyway? I think she's in the office over there. But she took it well. She's she missed our niece's wedding, which is her favorite niece. Maybe we have no other nieces of Cheryl in here. But favorite niece, and she's missing the wedding, right? And that was last weekend. So she wasn't totally happy, but she's been a great sport about it. So this is her going under the cytotron. The cytotron, Nick went under every day. Nick had already gone probably 8 or 10 days at this point, and Cheryl was the first day under. This is the scientist, the mad scientist, who's an unbelievable guy. I'd love to get him here to talk to you guys someday. This guy by the governor of the state, and I met some big people in the state, whether they're big business people, politicians, whatever. They believe this guy is like the Nikola Tesla of our time. They're probably a little partially from their country and all that, and their state, but they look upon him as the Nikola Tesla. He's the same age as me. We got a lot in common. We're both. Well, no, maybe we don't have much in common, actually. This is, he's totally analytical, of course, he's a scientist. I am not a scientist, right? He's a little introverted. If you get him going, that he is a loving guy, and he'll talk a lot. But if you don't catch him and get him to talk, he probably won't say a lot. But he's a great guy. This little girl, she's about 4'5" probably. This is a physician's assistant. They have 3 people that work on these 2 machines, and she's one of them, and there's 2 others, and they're either nurse practitioners or physician's assistants, and they're like gold, man. And they don't have a lot of personality either, but I got a lot out of them. And the good thing is they're not salespeople. So I asked them a lot of questions. I believe they're bluntly honest with me in every question I asked them. So I asked her counterpart, Radish. I asked, hey, what's the percentage of brain cancer you've seen come through here that are still alive after 5 years? And I was told by him, we don't know, but I think it's 40%. He's because some that have dropped off haven't talked to him after 5 years, and they don't know if they're still alive. They never came back, so he's assuming they are. But over the last 12 years that this has been going on in a strong way, he believed there's 40-45%. And Dr. Roberto is more conservative, who's my friend who's come here before. He was on my DDCEO podcast. He said, he thinks it's 37-40% is somewhere around the number that they arrived at. Talking to these guys, I knew they'd be blunt. I said, hey, what if you threw a dart, right? And you said, what percentage of brain cancers you've treated have gone past 5 years? What do you think? What do you think the number is? And Radish was the first guy I talked to. He goes 70%. I think 70% for sure. And I said 70%. I'm hearing like 30-40%. He goes, nah. He goes 70%. He goes maybe. And maybe if you took away the people that have come too late, he goes, it'd be even more. He goes, but I think 70%. I said, that's amazing. That's good news. Talked to her. She said, she didn't really want to answer. But she said 60%, maybe 60%. I bugged her long enough. She told me. All right. The last girl said 65%. Anyway, so that was good news. That no blunt. And they're looking at Cheryl's cancer, looking at her thing, and said, these people didn't say anything, but she didn't say anything. The other girl, but he and the one guy read it said, we're going to get this thing. We're going to get it. We're going to get it, right? So the confidence level is really, really way higher than maybe I even want to tell Cheryl even. So this is they're mapping out where the issues are in her brain and where the beam's going and where to line her up every day. So. It's kind of primitive, but they do plastic over, and she's probably, she can't breathe, right? I mean, they had this plastic over her face, and she said it was a little uncomfortable, but not terrible. But it's just good. There's probably a better way than a thing of plastic over your face while they're laying this out. So that's.
There's so many. Is it gotten bigger because sometimes you go the whole body, because sometimes you want the whole body.
So this thing started this wide, like a little bigger than an MRI, a little smaller than an MRI. Then it's gotten bigger and bigger. That was an old one. That was like 20 years old.
The first one that was 20 years ago. Oh, it's 20 years old. Okay. Wow.
He's a talkative guy, isn't he? He actually is if you get him going.
What do you think, Dad? You like it?
Definitely, the MRIs are a pain in the neck for her because she doesn't like it, the thing right in her face and the pounding. This is pretty non-invasive overall. So this is his complex, about 3-4 acres, and he's got 150,000 square foot buildings, and they look like this. And he's got research teams in every building doing different things. This guy not only, his medical is his passion, but he's done some amazing things. So you guys ever see the thing that gets people that are deaf could never. There's no way you can figure out how they can hear, right? There's a gizmo now that taps in your inner ear, and it's kind of a weird looking thing on the outside of your ear. But people that never heard before, totally deaf, can now hear. Anybody seen this yet? Look it up. But his signature is on this with like 2 other scientists. They pulled him in a year and a half or 2 years before it was developed to help finish it up. But his name's on that patent and many others. He's got about 60 major patents, and 10 or 15 of them are world-changing patents. This is one of them. But this right here, if you can't see too well, I didn't do a very good job of this picture, but these guys all have sandals on, right? There's no hard hats or anything, and they got drills going on. They're welding around this thing. But this is he does water treatment in a huge way. So water's terrible there. The general will see this, but the creeks and rivers and lakes are dumping grounds for their garbage, right? So we look at this and we say, how is that, right? How is that a good thing? Well, when poverty is this big, right? People you don't have time to even think. As much as they love to breathe cleaner air and all that, I believe that when you're that poor, ecology is not top of mind, right? We're blessed that we're a nation that's in great shape, overall economically, personally, individually, as a country, as a state. We can concentrate on this stuff, right? But when you're broke, how do you even care about where your garbage is going? But we didn't get many pictures of that. But this is one of his machines. This thing will it'll clean 2,000 gallons an hour of water, the dirtiest, lousiest water in the world, from even septic to just really dirty waters. They've got places where they do slaughtering, and they have slaughter ponds, blood and water mixed. They can clean that to be as clean as drinking water, which is crazy to think about, right? They don't usually for drinking water when that's the case, but they can. So that's That's Doc again. This is in the middle of his complex. He's got gates. He's got a gate here. He's got guards. He's got 120 or 30 people that work here. About 40% of those are research scientists, and the rest of them are people serving everybody around there, serving the research scientists, serving the guests, serving the, he's got, if you think about it, when labor is a couple dollars a day, and that's about what they pay many of the people, right? You can have a lot of people working, right? So that's the complex. The complex is 100% run on recycled. He has gas for the place, natural gas that's run on algae from the lake that he's adjacent to. He cleans the lake out. The lake is all clean algae-wise. Now he's got to go to the lakes to harvest it. So this is Nick. See how tall Nick has gotten? How tall he's gotten, huh? The kid, I think it was this machine, but it was like, I didn't measure him yet, but we took this picture. I said, wow, he's grown. Well, then we did measure them, and she's 4 foot tall, and he's 4'5". But yeah, so this is that. I can go past that. So this is a roller that's used commonly. Okay, this is the equipment. Their equipment is not 10 years older than our equipment, not 20 years older than our equipment. This is exaggerated a little bit, but their equipment is 30, 40 years older than our equipment in the field, right? So technology is not a thing. And Max, you know this, and anybody in the field knows this. When labor is really cheap, you'll see across the country that the equipment gets that much worse because people aren't thinking about productivity, right? Well, labor, I talk to laborers in the field doing concrete and asphalt, right? And they're making somewhere between $6 and $10 a day, right? These are higher paid guys and gals, right? But when it's that cheap, right, you're not that incentivized to buy a $500,000 machine. Let's say a roller might be a couple $100,000 for a roller this size, modern roller, and a paver's $500,000 for a road paver, right? Nobody's going to pay that money. They're doing white topping over there all over the place, and they're using an old screed, and the quality is really mediocre at best. This is it right here. How about that? I didn't know that's next, but white topping right there. Like I said, the surface the saw cutting is not very good, right? There's some issues with it, but they're doing 6-inch white topping over asphalt roads there, and all over the place. They said the quality is mediocre, but I still think it's going to last a long time. Well, this guy here became Nick's friend. Nick took, I don't have this, but Nick took selfies with this turkey, and the turkey would be like this. All of a sudden, Nick would go down and put the camera up, and the thing would like lift his head up, right? Didn't I exaggerate a little? Didn't smile, but lifted his head up, right? He did it multiple times, and this guy came in. He walks through the office. He walks in the waiting area like he owns the place, right? He has turkeys. He's got roosters. He's got a couple cows on site. Cows are all over the place. I don't know if I got many pictures of the cows, but cows are all over the place here. Here's this water machine that I was on the phone with Bo Jackson coming in here because Bo would be a great guy to be part of marketing this thing, right? This is very antiquated marketing. This is just looks like a regular water cooler, right? This takes water from the air. So think about this. He's invented this thing. He knew that over centuries and centuries, thousands of years, man has been trying to get water from the air. Because scientists from way back thousands of years ago know that there's moisture and water in the air. They didn't know exactly how much. Today he knows that 94% of the water on our earth is in the air. Who would believe that, right? But if you think about it, you got this, thousands of feet of atmosphere before you, right, to get to outside our Earth, and you got the lakes and oceans that are much not near as deep and all that. So 94%, though, that seems odd, doesn't it? 94% of our water. And I got an interview of him talking about this too. I won't show you that, but this is very antiquated, and it doesn't say what this is. If you knew that you were drinking out of a cooler, that the water was derived from the air, and if you knew that it was on a pH, I didn't know anything about this, and a lot of you guys probably do, but pH in your body is 7.4, and if you can drink water that's 7.4 or above, it's like an antioxidant. And most of the water we drink, bottled water out of this machine, reverse osmosis is 60 to 72, they say. If you get the expensive water that's actually taken from a mountain stream, it might be 7.4 or 7.6, right? But this water is consistently 7.4 to 7.8, taken from the air, right? Environmentally so friendly, right? How does that not, number one, look like a 22nd century machine, right? How is it not marketed on there that it does this? So you're looking at the machine saying, I want some of this water from the air, right? Okay, so he's given me and Roberto the ability to license this for America if we want to, right? So I look at this and say, hey man, if we can repackage this and redo it, very little maintenance on this thing, and sell it nationally, it could be pretty cool. And Bo Jackson may be helping to market this thing. He's got a pretty good name. Might be something we do, right? So we're looking at that. We'll see how far we go with it. So this is okay. So we got through all this. I skipped through a lot. I don't know if I'm going back, but we got to Dubai. Nick and I at the end of this, we were supposed to stay in Dubai for a few days, 4 or 5 days, and because we thought it'd be a pain in the neck for him overall to go to Dubai. It's on the way back. But we cut it a little short because we didn't know if Cheryl was going to be able to stay with Cheryl a few more days extra. Got to Dubai. We had like just over a day and a half to be there, right? And
welcome to Dubai. Not a bad place to be, ain't it? Yep, not too bad.
So it's a little foggy at this point, but this is all man-made islands. It's called the Palm.
Nice real estate somewhere. This might be the place. Yeah, it's really inexpensive.
It's super expensive here.
There's the new Atlantis over there.
So this is all on the end of what they call the palm. If you look from the air, it's a big palm, right? So you think about this, it's got all the branches, 100% man-made in the middle of the ocean.
Every one of those strips is palms, the beach fronts, right?
So if you look, doesn't look like much there, but from the air, it's amazing. And all these are like huge, very expensive places, right?
When they planned on building this, people thought it was crazy.
Okay, this is we went out to dinner with Jordan's friends here, this Carolina and her husband, Anis, great guy, great people. This is a okay. So the next day we got up. So we only had a day and a half. So we first went out there when we first got there at 1 or 2 o'clock, and we hit some water slides and got a feel for the place. The next morning we said, okay, we're going to hit this place hard, man. We're going to do everything, right? So we got up. We scheduled a dolphin encounter. Okay, dolphin encounter. I didn't realize what this is. You play with the dolphin. You hug the dolphin. The dolphin kisses you, right? They slaps 5 with you, dances with you, right? You jump on the back of the dolphin, and they do it in a way that they know is right. The dolphin comes by, it stops, you grab it by its fins, and it takes off with you, right? So anyway, so we started the day with that, and then we did the water slides, and then we did skiing inside, snow skiing, and then we finished the day surfing. But this is Nick's like, this is the best day. This is the best day I've ever had. This is amazing, right? So this is the floor drops out. There's a glass floor. You're standing like this, straight up, and the floor leaves you. It leaves you. You're in the air for like 2 seconds at least before you feel anything, right? You're falling from this. You're a couple hundred feet high here. You're falling for a couple seconds before the slide you even feel a slide, right? And then it does a loop, and it's pretty cool. So that was the most fun to me. That was that slide, and there's a few other good ones too. So that's Nick riding the dolphin right there. So you grab him by the fins and take off. You go about 50 yards on his back, and then they tell you to get off, right? I didn't listen, but I went about 60 yards. Okay, so then we finished the day. So we went to the surf, whatever you call it, surf machine, right? So the surf machine, people are bodyboarding on this all day long. People in and out on the surf thing, right? And so I said, man, can you surf on it? Like, right, really surf? Because we kind of know a little bit about that, right? And they said, yeah, but you have to rent it to do that. And you have to have somebody out here, like teaching you, watching, and all that. So we said, okay, is there anything available? Sure enough, from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, the last time, they had one slot available. So Nick and I rented this room for an hour. So that's Nick, not the best there. He did a little better than that a couple times. Okay, here's me, and this is I'm still feeling this, and you might see why. I'm still waking up every day. I think my neck's getting stiffer by the day. It's a week later. But I was happy that I was walking after that because I heard a crunch. You ever hear a crunch in your neck? It's like, and I say it was like that, right? It was crazy. So they wanted to get the paramedics out there and all that. But look what happened to my head. See the bald spot? That wasn't there before. That's BS. Okay. So I did go again, and I went for a lot longer this time. See, I won't. Shoot, how do I do this? Oh, maybe that's not it. Oh, you didn't get the other surfing one, did you? Oh, dang, I went for like 25 minutes on the other one. Well, we don't have much time anyway. I got one extra where I went like 3 minutes anyway. 3 minutes anyway. We won't show that. My neck's hurting more and more as I watch that more. Okay, so in that day we went dolphin riding, right? We did the best water slides, and then we went to this mall where the biggest. I got that in there. You took that out too, the ski area inside. So we skied the ski area inside. It's like a little over half a mile of skiing inside a building, right? It's amazing, and it's chairlift inside, everything. It's so popular. They're building another one that's going to be over a mile long inside, ski area, right? That's longer than anything we have in the Midwest, a mile long, right? I mean, Wisconsin. So this is where we flew to go from here. We went to Seattle and stayed. Went to the wedding, met the kids for the wedding that Cheryl didn't get to go to. That was bothered her, but it's pretty cool. We went. When you go to Dubai, you can go all four ways. You can go south, right? You can go and around the earth. You can go north. You can go east or west. We went there. When we went there, we went east to through New York and all that around the earth. When we came back, we came we went north, over North Pole, right? It's kind of cool, but it's quite a long flight. I'll tell you that. Well, this is okay. So in Seattle, I posted this the other day too. You got to teach people to catch fish, right? Catch their own fish, right? That everybody knows that saying, right? You teach a man to fish, or a woman to fish, right? Right? What do you do? They can fish for the rest of their lives, right? You feed them, right? And this our foundation. We want to think this way always, right? Our foundation. We want to do things that are sustainable. Teach people to do it on their own, not just to feed them, right? So I put this on the on my LinkedIn. I got a lot of hits on it. So I said, "Can my kid go back there and catch a fish because they're throwing fish all over, right?" They said, "Oh yeah, sure." He's got hands like a blacksmith. These guys think he's goofing around the way he catches this. He's not goofing around. It's like a. This is a very famous place in Seattle, fish market. Some of you guys may have heard of it. Yeah, like he did on purpose, right? Yeah. Okay, so what I learned about India, this is the end of it. Okay, so 80-90% of the population is in poverty. I read 90, I read 85, whatever, but India is the worst pollution in the world. It's number one in the world. I don't know if you guys ever saw the chart. There's a clean air chart for the biggest, I think it's countries over like 30 million people. And India is number one, dirtiest in the world. And when you walk there, you can taste it, you can smell it. If you don't have sunglasses on, you can feel the dirt hitting your eyes in the air, right? So it's terrible what these people live in, right? Innovation and capitalism are helping bring many out of poverty. So they're saying that they became what they call a free market economy. They ended the caste system, I think, like 30 years ago. You guys can look it up. I think it's 20, 30, 40 years, whatever it is. They ended it. But that caste system was in place for centuries and centuries, right? So it's not like you flip a switch and it's different. People that are born in the bottom of the caste system, they're in the sewers. They work in the sewers. I don't care how smart you are. Doesn't matter how strong you are. Your job might be in the sewers, right? Somewhere in the middle, you might be working on construction crews or whatever. At the top, you're royalty. Doesn't matter how stupid you are, you're royalty, right? The blessing of this story, that guy, that doctor, the scientist, the mad scientist, he was born somewhere towards the top of the caste system. So all this research he's doing, he's not making any money. He's spending all his money basically. He's trying to monetize things now because he realized he's running out of money. So I want to help him with the water thing. Cancer is going to be a big road. I don't know that the cancer thing is ever going to be solved in America when we have $1.5 trillion just in the chemotherapy industry, right? I don't know that we'll ever get past that. Hopefully we will, right? But it's sickening that there might be things out there that are solving cancer like nothing else. And this might not be the only thing, right? But it's not getting here because we have so much money in this in chemotherapy, radiation, and these things, right? So. But again, so innovation and capitalism are amazing. When you talk to anybody, I don't care what level, again, they're all wanting, they all want to figure out how to make a living. Their minds are always, they're thinking about how they can make their lives better. Felt extremely safe in anywhere there, right? Murder rate here is about half or a little more than half of what America is. So again, think of America if 90% of our population lived in poverty. Because we look at our poverty, we look at our areas where there's poverty, right? It's bad, right? I mean, it's terrible. And why is that? I believe, okay, one question I don't think I have, do I have? Oh yeah, I do. Okay, so in the U.S., where children are born in communities where poverty is prevalent, 78% of those children are raised without a father, right? Without two parents in their life, and probably not grandfathers and grandmothers and all that either, right? Here, okay, and 39% now, the number is 39% of all the kids in America are raised without a father in their life, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. And I believe that two parents, any person without two parents raising them is going to be challenged to be raised with the moral compass that we'd love them to have, right? And the values we'd love them to have, right? It's just tough. Not to say that great moms or a great dad can't do it, because they can. We've got examples all around us, right? But it makes it a lot tougher, right, to raise a kid to be a boy, especially to be a good kid that respects others, right? So again, we look at 39% of all children here in the U.S. no fathers. That's crazy, when less than 2% of the children here are raised without a father in their life. And by the way, not only do they have a father in life, they probably have grandma and grandpa on both sides around them, right? Maybe live in the same house. So when you look at this, and again, I thought it was one religion, right? I thought they're all, I thought they were all one religion pretty much there, right? I find out they have many different types of religion, but they respect all the religions in a big way. So I thought that Buddhist, we're Buddhist, and the people I talked to said Buddhism is kind of a culture. The Buddhists that I met, some were going to the Catholic Church, some were going to other Christian church, some were Muslim and Buddhist, right? So it's like, I didn't know that, right? But there's all these states, they speak all different languages also. So many of these people are speaking 4 or 5 languages, right? If they're doing anything in business with people outside the state, right?
You have one more slide, by the way.
Okay, so amazing, right? But again, that stat, less than 2%, I believe, is the reason that this is so much lower than our country, right? As impoverished as they are. I believe the same thing applies when I talk to anybody, again, from the slums, my driver, the people that served us anywhere I went, and I'm not afraid to talk to all of them and ask them a lot of questions, right? They didn't vary a lot in their culture, in their love for family, their love of their faith that they have, and the kindness that I felt in every one of them, right? Every one of them I felt respect, and maybe I'm a white guy, I must have some money, maybe there's some of that, right? But I didn't think that's the case, right? I met so many people that didn't know who I was, and I felt really love from them, right? And I've got 2 of my friends. I don't run into, in my life, I didn't run a lot of Indian people in my life, but 2 of my best friends are Indian. Bijou, which some of you guys may know, he comes around sometimes. He's the founder of Redbox. And then Ravi Bhagat, I was the best man for his wedding. Ravi I went to high school with. And for some reason I gravitated to be friends with them really fast. But sure enough, I saw these exact same traits in them. One came from the middle of the caste system, one came from the lower caste system to get here through education, right? But bottom line again is, why is that, right? And I go back to that principle I said before, right? I'm very confident that respecting, okay, one more, you didn't see them fearing anything either, right? You see these people driving the street, walking across the streets. Cows are constantly walking across the busiest streets. Goats and dogs, same way, they kind of know what they're doing around there. They're looking both ways almost, right? I mean, it's crazy how smart cows might get. Cows are sacred. It's heard sacred cows. They don't eat cows much there, right? I mean, maybe not at all, I don't think. But they milk them. They're seeing them milk them on the side of the street, right? And in the middle of the day, they go out to the island in the middle of the highway, and they're eating off the grasses and the weeds in the middle of the highway, right? And about 4 or 5 o'clock, okay, traffic is lightening up a little bit. They walk back across to the village or wherever they're at. And somebody owns them too, right? Somebody's milking them every day. It's really wild. So think of the trust you have to have if a cow is a big asset for you, for literally a big ass set for you, right? Think about the trust you have to have in the people around you, right? That your cow's walking across the street, somebody could steal the cow actually, load them up in a truck, and there's just not any fear of that. So again, what I see is that they don't fear anything. These little people and other poor people, they don't fear anything, but they respect everything, right? And I believe it's the love of their faith that drives those things, right? Because when we think of faith, you're supposed to love everybody, right? I mean, again, I talk about this a lot, but I couldn't think that way 20 years ago, right? Just couldn't think of somebody that's a competitor that I want to kick the crap. I can't love that company, right? Somebody that I lost a bunch of money because they purposefully didn't pay me or whatever, right? I can't love that person, right? But I believe these people think that way on a constant basis, and that's why they live a better life without any, they don't harbor any ill will, right? So what do I learn? What's this here? Innovation as well. Yeah, so innovation is big there. I talked to many people. So these people I met kept saying, Nick had some pain in his mouth, so the doctor, the scientist, recommended the best dentist in town, right? So we go to this dentist, really neat guy, and I got to be good friends with him. So on an every other day basis, he's calling me saying, "Okay, Gary, when I'm done today, I want you to come by. I got a guy you got to meet, right? He builds drones, right? And he's got a drone company. You got to meet. You're into drones. He's into drones. You got to meet him. Hey, Gary, when you come by, if you come by tonight after I'm done, come by the office. I've got an entrepreneur. He owns 10 companies. 5 of them do business in America, right? He's introduced me person after person, right? Nothing in it for him. So again, you see this, that they're totally givers in many ways, right? So I met a bunch of investors, entrepreneurs. There's a bunch of things that are crazy going on in the world, and maybe it's going on other places, but I'm seeing a lot there. There's an eye retina scanner. There's a YPO or a CEO guy in Chicago. I call him. I say, Rahul, yeah, I'm going over there. I think you're from Bangalore. Yeah, that's my home country, or my hometown and everything. So he goes, I want you to meet my CEO over there. So I said, where's he at? Well, he's in Delhi. I said, Delhi, that's a long way away. He goes, it's a couple-hour flight. He goes, I'm going to have him come and see you. I said, what are you talking about? No, I'm going to have him fly. He goes, so sure enough, his CEO over there calls me and said, hey, Gary, nice to meet you. Rahul says good things about you. What day can you meet with me? Right, it's like he's right down the street or something, right? So sure enough, we pick a day. He flies in from Delhi, and he takes me to show me what his technology company does. But then they were both really excited about a company they were the major investors in that's doing things to solve problems in health in the world. And this thing is an eye retina scanner. There's 1 billion people in the world, at least, a little more than 1 billion people in China and India that have no connection to any type of health, right? There's no way they can get to a hospital close enough or a doctor's office close enough. There's no way they'll pay even 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks for that, right? So how do we solve this problem where we can find problems in people that can't pay for it, little checkups or health physicals, right? So they figured out the retina it tells a story of many, many diseases. Anybody know that? The retina tells about a lot of different diseases, right? So sure enough, they get all these scientists together, develop this business, and I should have the name of it, but embarrassingly I don't right now. But they have an eye retina scanner that they developed. So their goal is to less than $2 a person. They want to bring this to the poorest communities in the world. And this thing will tell you diabetes really, really good, and type 2 diabetes really good. And that's a common thing there. People go blind of type 2 diabetes because diets and all different things there, right? Malnutrition, all these things. But they believe if you can tell, for one thing, these people all have anxiety in their lives because they've never been to a doctor, because they feel something going on. They're, maybe I'm dying, whatever, right? If they can do these physicals at $2 or less, they know they can get in front of 1 billion plus people. They can get people to fund it. That the communities can actually fund it. People can actually afford it in most cases, right? Even in the poorest communities. So sure enough, it's done. They've got a product right now. It's going to go to market, and they're concerned well with that. So I'm talking to them and saying, man, I'll tell you what, I believe that the insurance industry would be all over that, right? So think about we care about the health of everybody in this room and everybody on our team, and selfishly we care about it because, man, our costs are going to go up, right? And culturally we care about it because we love everybody on our team, right? So either way, if you're selfish or not, you should care about health, as you guys all know here. We need to continue to focus on that. I look at it as, hey, would we pay $50 a person to get that in there to do this check? Hell yeah, we would, right? This is an insurance thing in America. I think they could make a ton of money on to fund a lot of the stuff they're doing, right? So, I believe the captive insurance business for sure, Mike, and I talked to Mike about this a little bit. I think anybody that's been involved with the captives, Brad, Max, and anybody here, Kim, captives, you have to make sure that you're as healthy as you can be because you're paying everything. This insurance and captive, you're responsible for everything, right? So in a captive, absolutely, my friend George, who runs the biggest captive in the world right now, Captive Resources, who we used, right, can sell this to every company he has, in my opinion, at a heck of a lot more than $2 a piece, right, to come in and do these scans. It's non-invasive. It takes 2 minutes to do it and 30 seconds to spit out the report. And right now they have like 25 or 35 major things that it can find in your body that's going wrong, right? So it's crazy, right? So the drone builder, this young guy, 18 years old, at 12 years old, 13 years old, he started building drones when he was excited about the industry. Today he's got 35 people, I think, working for him. Average age is about 28 years old, and this kid's 18 years old now. And to talk to this kid, it's like talking to a 40-year-old tech engineer, right? So anyway, he's got drones he's building. He's going to come here and he's going to fly these drones for Austin to show that they're better than what we're buying, and maybe we do use his drones. Maybe we do something with them, right? The mad scientist, of course, and Dr. Roberto. are doing amazing things. I didn't go into a lot of things they're doing, right? But they're doing, no, I would say Dr. Roberto is doing amazing things on the brain, diseases of the brain. That's what he's focused on, not cancer, right? But is a little like me, except way smarter, right? He's in so many things because he's so passionate about solving problems, right? Except he's not an entrepreneur or business guy. He is a crazy scientist, right? That solves problems, and he expects failure. So we talked about this a lot, but he kind of estimates how many times they're going to fail. We're going to fail maybe 2,000 times on this. My estimate is 2,000 times before we figure out this little problem, right? To figure out the big problem. On this over here, we're going to fail maybe 6,000 times on this because nobody's figured this out, and it's going to take a long time. I've got the smartest people, but it's going to take a long time. So he expects failure, right? He expects it thousands of times. And if he can figure out a problem within half the time, he's like celebrating that it only took him 1,000 failures instead of 2,000, right? So it's pretty cool. But so what else? I'll give you a couple more examples. One big example, one big multi-billion-dollar business that this guy's. He's got a patent to clean nuclear waste. Nuclear waste is the cleanest energy, the most efficient energy we can buy at this point. Better than solar, better than anything, right? Except you got this waste that's left over. It's a problem, right? So it doesn't make it the cleanest, the best. But nuclear waste, he's at a point now he thinks he can clean about a third of a ton per hour. He wants to get it to over 1 ton per hour, the solution, before he can bring it to before he brings it to market, because he thinks he's got a product then. Well, it's a huge product. We have customers in Exelon and people all over the world that would love to solve that problem, right? They're bearing it now, and it'd be a big deal. So he's got the cure for clean nuclear waste. He's very confident of that. Like I said, it'd be interesting to be part of that team to bring it to America, wouldn't it? Yeah, kind of fun. And finally, again, I said this already, they're loving, compassionate people, and I would just imagine that if I'm going to be in an area where 90% are living at below $3,000, man, that must be a dangerous area to be, right? I would, not somewhere I choose to go usually, but man, I know Janelle can go there, and my wife and Janelle can go there when they're there together. Debbie's going to be there with them. They could go walk through these slums and not feel at all at risk, right? Which is amazing, right? So I think that's about it. Any questions? Do I get any more time left? Did I blow it all? Okay, 30 seconds of questions. Come on, fast.
Price of gas.
Huh? Oh, the price of gas. It's not that much different there. It's maybe 50% more than here.
More?
50% more than here. So it's more, but I thought it'd be like a lot more.
When you're at festival day and your high energy that you normally have, do they just stare at you, or do they recognize that
I had a loss for words because only a couple of them can understand English. Like my driver understands English, pretty decent. Mom and Dad, not so much. I held conversations with them, but I don't think they understood anything I was saying. I thought I was confident that I was holding conversations with them. I probably wasn't. But he showed me his motorcycle. He was proud to have this motorcycle he's had for like 30 years. That his 75-year-old father. So he had to show me his motorcycle. It's pretty cool. Venkatesh dreams about a motorcycle that costs $2,500. He dreams about this, and so let's go check it out. So I like motorcycles, so we go check out the motorcycles, and we're looking at all these really cool motorcycles, but they're all like 350 cc's or lower, Max. Think about that. Think about that, Kim. Right? 350 cc or less. Why is that? Why do you think that is?
They're light. They're efficient.
Yep.
And they're cheap.
Mileage, right? Light, efficient, and they don't go more than like 20 miles an hour on these streets. You can't. I mean, you feel like you're going really at a great clip if you're doing 20. I mean, it's that congested. It's that And again, everything stops when a cow crosses the road, and that happens a lot. There's families there's families on motorcycles. I got some pictures. I didn't show those. I get too many. But there's families of 5 or 6 on one scooter, like what do you call the moped, right? There's families of 5 or 6, and the driver, the father, has a helmet on. Nobody else does in many cases. That's crazy, right? There's little babies. There's a 7 or 8 year old kid in the back, mother in front of that kid, and then a 1-year-old baby between the father and the mother. In many cases, right? I mean, it kind of sounds crazy, right? But it seems to work for them. So culturally, there's a lot of things that really challenge your mind to think, gosh, how did they not solve that yet? Or maybe they don't have to solve it, right? Who am I to say? Come on, throw me some better questions than that. Adam, you're always, objective guy, or Scotty, come on.
So are you saying that I won't be able to have like a cheeseburger there?
Nick and I were excited we found a McDonald's.
So they do have beef.
No, we went to McDonald's, there's no beef in those sandwiches. I don't even know what it was. I'm not sure what it was. We just ate it with a
They don't serve it anyway. No beef.
No, there is, yeah. Well, at the Ritz-Carlton, they have regular hamburgers.
Gary, how about the traffic patterns? Is it the way it is? Do they just go anywhere?
Well, yeah, that's a great question, Carly. There are very few lights. There's intersections with no lights, and people just kind of go however they figure out how they're going to go, right? Traffic pattern, I mean, you do have people, it looks like a one lane road, and cars are coming the other way. I mean, like 98% of traffic is going this way, and here's a car, a bus, or a van, whatever, coming exactly the opposite way. I'm like, how does that work, right? The policing is very loose there. If you pay them off, you can pay them off always half of what the ticket cost is. So if it's a $100 ticket, you can pay them $50 now, and everything goes away. And it's known. Government, everybody knows that's how the cops make money. They make more money that way than they do in their salary, right? Huh? I didn't have to pay anybody off at all. Yeah, no, so that's kind of weird though, right? There's a lot of payoffs. It's pretty corrupt overall. I mean, when you think about that, but who am I to say?
I have a question. With all this innovation, how is it going to help the impoverished there?
Well, it's okay. Just like I believe in here in Illinois to help our state, we have to do the same. We have to become more innovative. We have to own businesses here and do businesses outside our country here in Illinois, right? To be stronger economically, that's what we have to do. And our country has to do the same thing. They have to do the same thing. So Google's coming in there. They got big buildings with thousands of people at Google, and they've got Microsoft and all these people. They have big buildings. Bangalore is actually the tech capital of India right now. So you get all these tech companies from Silicon Valley with big percentage, let's say 20, 30, 40, 50% of their employees out of there, right? So that gives them jobs, and that's probably better jobs than maybe poverty, right, level. So they're making $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 a year. That's better. So that's better, right? But they have to be more entrepreneurial. They have to start owning some of this stuff, owning these businesses and building the business within. They've got all the intelligence there. Hell, everybody's hiring them, right? They've got all the best culture there. I mean, their culture. If you meet any of these people, you would say, yeah, they could be in our company. They would definitely fit in our company. Many people right there. So that's all good, right? But they have to start building their own businesses from there, like Israel has done over the last 50 years, right? To serve the rest of the world, bring money back to them for defense. And actually, okay, economically as a country, they're way better than we are. Economically as a country, we have about we have over 100% debt compared to our gross national product per year, right? Our annual gross national product. So we're like 110, let's say, of our debt to gross national product. All right, that's a lot. China is even worse than we are. Right? I mean, yeah, they're a little worse than us. Japan's way worse. India is only like 20, 30%. So where, let's say they do $3 or $4 trillion a year in revenues in India, gross national product, their debt is, 600 billion, right? Only a little more than Illinois, right? So actually, fiscally, they're very strong. So that should be a big deal. They should be leveraging that, and the government should be, funding maybe some of this stuff, right? Businesses that start there and grow there. They have a prime minister right now that's very entrepreneurial, job creation friendly. His focus is just exactly this. So there are a lot of these people very excited about this guy. The prime minister. I got to look up his story more, but from talking to people there, he was a street vendor, a street retailer, right? Like with the family out there selling stuff. He was a millionaire for their standards in his last few years before he became a prime minister, but like barely, right? Just barely. He had a bunch of street vending, and he became pretty successful there. But successful there is being worth $1 million. Here that doesn't get you a congressman's election or whatever, right? So anyway, so this guy is really motivated to do exactly what we're saying, right? And but the jobs are coming in. Hey, you can't not want them, right? I mean, they're making double or triple the poverty level, so there will be more and more people that'll get out of that poverty level. But they'll call poverty then. Probably a little 6,000 or 7,000 a year maybe, which it probably should be even there, 10 or 20,000, because their cost of living there, what do you think the cost of living there is percentage based to ours? Anybody, any guesses? So if their gas is a little higher, right, so that's higher, but food's a little lower, and let's say food and milk and these things are a little lower. And if you go out to eat, their labor's a lot less, so to go out and eat at an Indian restaurant's much cheaper. But on average, what would you guess the cost of living difference is from us to them?
10%.
10% less or 10% of ours?
10% of ours.
Okay. Any other guesses?
30% of ours.
Okay. So the number I was told over and over again. I looked at. I'm measuring what I'm buying, and I'm asking questions, and it looked like 60%. So their cost of living is 60% of ours, and their poverty line is like 1/10 of what we call our poverty, right? So so think about it. That's 60% of ours, only 40% less than ours to live like that, right? But they live because their family units are super strong, in my opinion. They live pretty good lives because their family units are strong. So who's got the solution to all that? Who's got the solution to create stronger family lives in our country, our values? Can't do it by government. Government can't tell you to do it, right? It's all of us that have to learn from it and say, man, I want to make sure I support my cousin, my whoever it is, to make sure they know that, gosh, marry right, or that gal or that guy you're dating and you're going to marry. I'm sorry, but I think they're kind of a bum. They're going to get, have a couple of kids that are going to be gone in a couple of years, right? I mean, we just have to be concerned as a culture, though, to make sure that we're looking out for our family and we're focused on these things, I think. But again, it's not something government can do, in my opinion. It's something we have to somehow change. But yeah, come on, no more questions. That's it. I'm only 10 minutes over. Well, thanks a lot, you guys. I appreciate it.